Hello, this is Robert from Kanga. Welcome to the 5th episode of Kanga News. Now, first of all, I would like to encourage you to like and subscribe this video so that you can stay updated on everything that is happening in the crypto world. I've got some very interesting news for you today, so let's get to it. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF continued adding inflows for the 70th straight day. That put the financial giants ETFs in the top 10 of exchange-traded funds with the longest daily streaks of inflows. Now, earlier on Monday, Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas posted a graphic to X demonstrating that if BlackRock's fund, ticker IBIT, succeeded in registering a 70th consecutive day of net inflows, it would rank the exchange-traded fund among some of the most successful in history. IBIT inflow streak currently at 69 days, one more day and it moves into top 10 and ties Jets, end quote, Balchunas posted. Now, the Jets exchange-traded fund, which combines shares in companies operating in the airline industry, has also achieved 70 straight days of inflows, according to data posted by Balchunas. Before Monday, Jets sat alone at number 10. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF had a net inflow of 20 million on Monday, according to HODL 15 Capital. Soso Value data showed a $19.65 million net inflow for the ETF on the same day. With 160 straight days, the JP Morgan Equity Premium Income ETF, or JEPI if you want, tops the list with the longest streak of daily inflows, also according to the Bloomberg's analyst post. BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF appeared to add over 600 million in assets under management on Monday, bringing its total assets under management to 18.16 billion, according to the financial institution. As of last Friday's close, the ETF had $17.55 billion in net assets, also according to BlackRock. Two lawyers for the US Securities and Exchange Commission, known as SEC, were forced to resign after a federal judge sanctioned the agency last month for committing a, quote, gross abuse of power, end quote, while attempting to secure a temporary restraining order against Utah-based crypto company Deadbox, according to a Monday report from Bloomberg. Michael Welsh, a former lead attorney on the Deadbox case, and Joseph Watkins, an investigative attorney whose declaration served as the foundation for the SEC's case against Deadbox, were reportedly forced to step down or else be terminated, according to the report, which cited people familiar with the situation. A spokesperson for the SEC declined to comment, but an April 15 court filing declared that Welsh, quote, is no longer employed by the Securities and Exchange Commission, end quote. Watkins' LinkedIn page says he is still employed by the agency. Last December, U.S. Chief District Judge in the District of Utah, Robert Shelby, wrote that he was, quote, concerned the commission made materially false and misleading representations, end quote, in their pursuit of the restraining order that, quote, undermined the integrity of the proceedings, end quote. Now, following Shelby's order, the SEC filed a response with the court admitting that its team fell short of standards but called sanctions unwarranted. In addition to apologies from Welsh and Watkins, the SEC's Division of Enforcement Director Gurbir Grewal personally apologized for his agency's shortfall in the case in a December 21st, 2023 court filing. The agency also moved to dismiss the case without prejudice, meaning they would retain the ability to refile the case against Deadbox, but Shelby denied the motion, arguing that his court had, quote, not yet had occasion to evaluate the underlying merits of the action, end quote. Apologies were not enough to get the SEC out of hot water. In February, 5 Senate Republicans sent SEC Chairman Gary Gensler a letter blasting the agency for conducting itself in an unethical and unprofessional manner and suggesting the other enforcement cases brought by the Commission may be deserving of scrutiny. In March, Shelby ruled that the SEC had committed a gross abuse of power and ordered it to pay legal costs for that box. The case remains ongoing. Now, we stay in the topic of SEC because the next news is connected to the previous one. You definitely remember the battle between Ripple and SEC. It's actually getting some tempo right now. Ripple contested the United States Securities and Exchange Commission's, SEC again, request to impose a $2 billion fine against the blockchain's company, saying the penalty should not exceed $10 million. In a new filing, Ripple Labs opposed the SEC's request to a federal judge to impose the almost $2 billion fine on the company. Ripple urged the court to deny the SEC's request for an injunction, disgorgement and prejudgment interest. Ripple also said the court should issue a more reasonable civil penalty, which should not be more than $10 million. Now, this is what the filing actually said. Quote, Ripple has every intent of adhering to that guidance in the future and every incentive to do so. The SEC's draconian remedial requests are ungrounded in law of principle. This court should reject them in their entirety. End quote. The filing highlighted that the SEC asked the court to ask Ripple to pay $876 million in disgorgement, $198 million in prejudgment interest, and another $876 million in civil penalties. In total, the amount reached almost $2 billion. Within the new filing, Ripple described the fine as unreasonable and said that $10 million is the actual amount that reflects a portion of their actual revenues. Ripple redacted the actual percentage shared in the document. The filing also highlighted that such an amount, quote, would be proportionate in both percentage and dollar amount to comparable digital asset cases where there was no culpable mental state and no substantial harm or risk of harm to others, end quote. Now, on X, Alderoti suggested that the SEC's actions and asked for the fine are proof of its ongoing intimidation against all of crypto in the United States. Now, the Ripple lawyer said that the case had no allegations or findings of recklessness or fraud. In addition, the legal officer believes that Ripple won on significant issues and hoped that the judge would fairly approach the final remedies phase of the case. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said he wants to put the US budget on blockchain, a ledger of transactions typically associated with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Quote, I'm going to put the entire US budget on blockchain so that every American can look at every budget item in the entire budget anytime they want, 24 hours a day, end quote, Kennedy said Sunday during a rally in Michigan. The public accounting of spending would theoretically allow more transparency and accountability into how the government spends taxpayer dollars. Although getting every government transaction onto the blockchain would be a Herculean task. Federal spending is also controlled through legislation, which is available to the public and federal departments are often audited by government watchdogs, such as the Government Accountability Office and their own inspectors general. Quote, "We're gonna have 300 million eyeballs on our budget, and if somebody is spending $16,000 for a toilet seat, everybody's gonna know about it," end quote. Kennedy said, appearing to reference a long history of scandals stemming from reports that the Pentagon paid $640 per toilet seat in the 1980s and $10,000 each for replacement toilet seat covers in 2018. Kennedy has embraced digital assets, accepting campaign donations in Bitcoin and touting plans to back the US dollar with Bitcoin if he's elected to the White House in November. But Kennedy has also publicly opposed plans for a central bank digital currency, known as CBDC, which the Federal Reserve is currently exploring, as have many Republicans, including former President Trump. While Republicans have rallied against the creation of CBDC, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said that the central bank will not create one without Congress ordering in through legislation. The independent firebrand has described himself as the only pro-cryptocurrency candidate running for president, as he wages a long-shot bid in a contest dominated by the rematch between Trump and President Biden. Now, Kennedy is convinced towards cryptocurrencies, and since you're watching this video, obviously you are as well. If this is the case, by all means, please visit www.kanga.exchange because the cryptocurrency world is open to you as well. Venezuela's state-run oil company PDVSA is allegedly set to increase crypto usage in its crude and fuel exports as the US strengthens oil sanctions against the country. Venezuela's PDVSA, the world's fifth largest oil exporter, is turning to stablecoin Tether, USDT, for fuel exports, as the US government has reimposed sanctions on it due to a lack of electoral reforms, according to a Reuters report, which cites sources familiar with the matter. While the frequency of PDVSA's crypto usage remains uncertain, insiders suggest that the company has been gradually shifting its oil sales to USDT since last year. In a commentary with Reuters, Venezuelan oil minister Pedro Telechea acknowledged that the country has different currencies according to what is stated in contracts, noting that in some contracts crypto might be the preferred payment method. PDVSA is reportedly mandating new customers and potentially even existing contracts to hold crypto in digital wallets, though it's unclear whether crypto payments are the preferred choice or just a backup option. Previous encounters with crypto in Venezuela have been faced with challenges, as evidenced by the recent closure of the Petro project. Launched in 2018 as a state-backed token tied to oil reserves, Petro faced controversy and failed to gain significant traction among citizens. Despite President Nicolas Maduro's initial optimism about leveraging the token to navigate US sanctions and address economic woes, Petro's demise in January marked the end of a nearly 6-year effort. Bitcoin mining infrastructure firm Hashlabs Mining has introduced a pioneering project enabling heat generation using specially designed Bitcoin mining devices. The project combines heat production from the hydro-cooled ASIC mining device, Watts Miner M63S, with the Finnish district heating system, where the heat is transferred from centralized source through a network of insulated pipes to multiple buildings. The new project is designed to allow households to benefit from industrial BTC mining. Quote, "With the help of industrial consumers like Bitcoin miners, Finland can increasingly use its massive nuclear power plant to produce heat, end quote. Hashlabs mining co-founder Jaron Mellerud said in a post on X on April 23. A local partner of Hashlabs has already integrated 2 Bitcoin mines with district heating facilities and is currently integrating a third one, Mellerud said. In the project, Hashlabs specifically utilizes the hot water generated from WhatsMiner M63S mining, which reaches a temperature of 70 degrees Celsius. The best provider of reliable high-temperature water for district heating is Bitcoin mining, the Hashlabs founder stated. WhatsMiner generated hot water is set to replace the heat generated in plants utilizing fuels like biomass and other carbon-neutral heat resources, as well as peat, hard coal, and others. As of 2019, most of Finland's district heat was produced with wood fuels, accounting for 35% and hard coal with 18%, according to the data from Statistics Finland. Peat ranked the third most important energy source in district heat production in 2019, with 15% produced with peat. The concept of using the energy coming from Bitcoin mining for heating has been gaining momentum in the past few years, with savvy Bitcoin miners finding many ways to make Bitcoin more environmentally friendly and sustainable. Jeff Kendrick, head of digital assets research at Standard Chartered, recently reiterated the bank's ambitious Bitcoin price target of $150,000 by the end of this year, despite current market volatility and geopolitical tensions. In a comprehensive interview with BNN Bloomberg, Kendrick highlighted the significant role of ETFs, inflows, and upcoming halving events in driving Bitcoin's price. One of the principal drivers identified by Kendrick is the remarkable influx of capital into Bitcoin ETFs within the United States. Since the inception of these ETFs in early 2024, they have witnessed approximately $12 billion in net inflows. Kendrick highlighted the significance of these developments, stating, quote, "The ETF inflows in the US have dominated really the demand-supply metrics in 2024 so far. This is huge in terms of how the ETFs have gone so far," end quote. He drew parallels between the current trends in Bitcoin and the historical performance of gold following the introduction of gold ETFs. Kendrick elaborated on the potential scale of this trend by projecting, quote, "From the start of this year to when the ETF market in the US is mature, we'll get between $50 and $100 billion of inflow," end quote. In addition to the ETF inflows, the Bitcoin halving event was identified as another pivotal factor. This event, which reduces the reward for mining new blocks by halving the rate of new Bitcoin entering circulation, is set to reduce the daily production from 900 to 450 Bitcoins. Although Kendrick mentioned that this halving might be less important than previous ones, he still considers it significant in the short-term supply dynamics. He stated, quote, "Obviously, once we have the halving, you have only half as many new coins, so that helps at the margin," end quote. If the Bitcoin halving is still a riddle to you, you're unsure what it is, you should definitely visit our Kanga University, where we provide free educational materials on the cryptocurrency world. This week, the value of the fiat-patched cryptocurrency economy has climbed to $160 billion, a peak last observed in May 2022, shortly before Terra's UST detached from its intended $1 parity on May 9, 2022. In the past months, various stablecoins have experienced an increase in supply, with Ethereum's USDE at the forefront, registering a supply rise of approximately 86.8%. This year, the stablecoin economy has seen substantial growth, increasing by $28.63 billion since December 30th, 2023. It escalated from the $150 billion milestone to the $160.03 billion range in just over a month, with numerous dollar-pegged coins experiencing increases in supply. Tether, known as USDT, the most substantial among them, now holds a market valuation of $109.9 billion with a circulating supply of $109.84 billion USDT. Over the past month, Tether's supply has grown by 5.6%. Circle's USD coin USDC, the second largest fiat-pegged token, experienced a 6.4% increase in supply over the past month. Currently, USDC's market cap slightly exceeds the $34 billion mark. Together, USDT and USDC represent more than 93% of the stablecoin market's total value. Meanwhile, MakerDAO's DAI has registered a 9.3% increase in supply this last month, bringing its market cap to $5.2 billion. First Digital's FDUSD now boasts a market valuation of $3.74 billion after witnessing a 43% increase over the past 30 days. Athena's USDE outpaced other top contenders with an 86.8% increase in supply as of April 22, 2024. USDE's market valuation is approximately $2.37 billion. Together, these five stablecoins account for 96.98% of the total market, holding $155.21 billion of the $160.03 billion stablecoin market value at this time. As the stablecoin market approaches new thresholds, its expansive growth underscores burgeoning confidence in fiat-backed crypto assets. The increase in stablecoins is usually a bullish signal towards the crypto market. And what is your approach? You're the bull or you're the bear? Maybe you have another opinion. By all means, feel free to share your comment below the video. And for today, that is all. If you liked this video, leave your mark with a thumb up or a subscription or both, and see you in the next episode.
We are Kanga, beyond crypto.